Hello, Mike here, and today we're finally going to talk about something that's been long overdue. I'm going to introduce you to a colleague of mine, my newest colleague that I've been missing for a really long time, Dino. Now, some of you may think, didn't you have this guitar already for many years? No, you're wrong. This is a brand new guitar. I've had a few different incarnations, as you may have seen, of Dino before. This is Dino number 4. And while I enjoyed the guitars that I had before, I was never completely happy with them. So I had a brand new guitar custom built for me by the Swedish luthier Peter Naglic. And I'm going to give you a rundown of the guitar, and then I'm going to tell you about what seemed to be a never-ending journey of this guitar that it felt like it wasn't supposed to be. But here we go. It's a super Strat. All the parts except for the body were used on the older Dino models. And so we have an Ibanez guitar neck from an old Ibanez Roadstar, but they look basically the same as the old Blazer and Blazer issue models. We have EMG pickups. And it's a EMG H in the neck and EMG 85 in the bridge. Independent volume knobs, so I can turn off it and do the toggle switch thing, and a master tone knob. It's a Ibanez Edge Floyd Rose tremolo, so in its route, so I could go both up and down. It has a locking nut, and I use go-to tuners, locking tuners. And you may notice that this guitar looks a bit different. The previous models, we used stickers and a different shade of blue. This guitar has airbrushed dinos onto the guitar, also to the back. And so they look very uniform, and there's no edges or anything, so you don't feel it. And I completely love this guitar. It sounds great, it plays great, most importantly, it looks awesome. And so, now that we have this out of the way, I'm going to tell you about the story. About 2 years ago, I decided that I needed to make my guitar, like my Raid Special guitar, my Arm the Homeless, my Greenie. And I always loved the Strat shape, so I knew I wanted it. And light blue has always, or turquoise, has always been my favorite color. And so I sent the idea to Peter, and we started out with the Ibanez Blazer shape, and I redesigned it a bit for what worked for me. I wanted to have great access to the highest frets, and you want the routings and the forearm cuts and belly cuts to feel comfortable. And so this is my shape. And the actual building process wasn't too painful. We had an incident with the trem unit which broke, so I had to get a new one. And then it came time to paint the guitar, and I sent it out to my usual paint guys, who they've done like maybe 5 guitars for me, and wasn't really anything special, until I noticed there was a stripe on the bottom of the guitar. And I asked them about it, and they didn't know what it was, so I asked a few of my luthier friends, and it turns out that a guitar body is often made of more than one piece of wood. And so you glue them together, and in the joint between 2 pieces, some paint had seeped in and made this stripe. And of course that was unacceptable, so I had him to sand the body down and repaint it. and it seemed to work until it was time for the clear coat. And for some reason, now the clear coat were reacting to the actual stickers. So it was almost like you took a knife and carved out the lacquer of the guitar. And I had him to redo it 2 or 3 times, and I said, no, we can't do this anymore. First of all, the company couldn't charge me because they didn't finish the guitar. And secondly, we had no real idea of how to solve this. And so I called up a friend of mine, EA Guitars in Sweden. He's a great guy when it comes to cellulose lacquering and vintage and relic jobs. And asked him if he would be able to solve this, and he said, let's give it a try. And he had a friend who is a great artist at doing airbrush, so he did these dinosaurs for me. And everything seemed to be going well, and he sent the body to me, and I received it in March last year. But when I received the guitar, the Swedish Postal Service had wrecked the guitar. You won't be able to see it, but there's a little bump on the headstock. So it seems like they used my guitar with the package kind of like a basketball, because the neck had been pushed into the neck cavity and split the wood to go in towards the neck pickup. And I was devastated, of course, because this was supposed to be my dream guitar, and I had put so much money into it, and now the postal service, they broke my guitar. And so I called up my friend, and he was almost as pissed as I was. We didn't know what to do. The postal service claimed that it wasn't their fault. They told me that we didn't package the guitar properly. So this was, of course, bull, because a guitar shouldn't be able to break this way. Anyway, we decided to focus on getting the guitar done, so he repainted the guitar. His guy redid the dinosaurs on the guitar, and actually they did come out much better the second time, so it was actually a blessing in disguise. And so then I went to pick it up, because I wasn't going to take any chances this second time. So I drove down to him. It took about 4 hours to drive to him, and I picked up the guitar, and now it was a matter of assemble the guitar and have it properly set up, because we had a show in December, and I really wanted the guitar to be the main piece of the show. And so I sent it out to another friend of mine who's a great guitar tech, and he did a wonderful job. And I picked up the guitar the same night that we were going to play the first of 2 shows. And the guitar has a beautiful acoustic tone, and when you plug it in, my tech guy, he has a great old Marshall Major amp, and it's a bit weird to hear like a super strat with EMGs played through like the Richie Blackmore amp, but it sounded awesome. And so I played it the first night, and it sounded great. All I had to do was some small adjustments to make it work for me, like fine tune the string height and so. And I also tweaked the position of the pickups. So now it plays great, it feels great, but most importantly, it looks awesome. This is the most baddest guitar I've ever seen. So there you have it. This is the story of Dino number 4. Enjoy.